third and last of the themes you have put up with so much. All spiritual growth depends upon surrender. Continuous, never-ending surrender. It's only as we surrender and surrender again and surrender again is our ego broken enough that the tea can run out of the cup and we begin to have an empty cup, a space into which God can pour himself. Ronald Knoxville just talked about gives us a clue. If we're going to learn to surrender, we're going to have to begin to evaluate who we are and begin day by day to take cognizance of those areas where our surrenders are needed for us to develop. Knox apparently had an illness when he was a wee child and gave him insomnia. So at the age of 4, one time, one of his parents asked him, I know you don't sleep very well. What do you do at night when you're not sleeping? He said, I lie in the dark and think about my past. Well, there's a good idea for you, whether you're 4 or 44. The picture I would like to give you this morning, I've chosen among many Wotan, sometimes known as Wotan, he's got other names. This is the god of sort of the northern Germany, Norse theology towards the end of the Middle Ages. And in his most sublime, culminating act, he took his own spear and pinned himself to the tree of life, the great tree, I don't know how to pronounce it, it starts YGG and goes on from there. Yggdrasil or something. But it represents all of the life on the planet. And he takes his own spear and crucifies himself onto that tree. He becomes blind to the ego world, to the outside world. And in this self-crucifixion, he moves back through the center so he can be bathed in the deepest wisdom of himself. That's God. The deepest wisdom that we have is that same God that lives at the core of all human beings. This is the ultimate act of surrender against the tree of life. Buddha is enlightened against the tree of life. Jesus is crucified on the tree of life. And the interesting thing is, if you think about the cross, this brings us back to the first of the 3 points, the opposites. The vertical dimension of the cross symbolizes the universal truths that we would all like to not only hold on to, but beat each other over the head with. This symbolizes the ad hoc particularities that have to be seen one by one, horizontally. The only place they meet is where the crucifixion takes place. The only place that these opposites come together is when the surrender is total and the deepest self is broken. And then the opening comes, and at that moment we go into the presence of God. Our cup is empty and God fills our cup with himself. And that is what the cross is all about. There's a legend that when we leave, each one of us leave as a divine soul, the heart of God. Our last prayer to God is, please, may I remember who I am, where I came from. And then we are born. And the wail of the baby's cry is, uh-oh, I've already forgotten. As we learn the surrender at that point, at the cross, the moment starts to come back as God begins to fill our empty cup. Well, I guess this is what I've tried to share with you for 25 years. For better or for worse, that portion of our common experience is over. I would simply like to remind you what I guess Ramakrishna, my much admired Hindu saint, says. The wind of grace is always blowing. All we have to do is set our sails. So my prayer for you is that you, each one of you, will set your sails. You will catch that wind of grace that will give you the insight, the energy, the focus to make the surrenders you need to make, that you can reach your God. Thank you for 25 years of life. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.